The city of Mission Viejo is legendary for its diving past. They are now more relevant than ever. With a new dive complex, the city hosted the FINA Diving Grand Prix. Today on Coach's Corner, two exceptional divers with high expectations join me for a candid conversation about their hopes and dreams on the world stage. Plus, Dan Laak of U.S. Diving discusses the status of U.S. diving and a lot more. I'm Paul Higgins. This is Coach's Corner, and the action starts right now. Brandon, first of all, congratulations. I know that you've had a great career in diving, but I think the best is still yet to come. You and I were just talking about it. You're going to take a gap year coming up to get ready for the Olympics. But let's first dive back, no pun intended, to this event. First time in 6 years that this event has been in the U.S. First of all, how honored are you to be at this event?
Yeah, I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, with the new pool, especially from what it used to look like, it's just fantastic to see Mission Viejo moving forward with its diving, because I always wanted this to be the hub of diving. So, I mean, it's fantastic to see all Team USA representing here, and especially representing very well.
Yeah, you're from Huntington Beach, now in Indiana, going to Purdue, and I know that you're enjoying that, but you said you want to get back to California, majoring in mass communications. You're a TV guy, you got the face, you know, you're ready to go. So your thoughts, where do you want to take diving? I mean, that's obviously a priority in your life right now, and you're pretty darn good at it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, other countries have it so well. I mean, you see like Tom Daley, like he's incredibly popular in Great Britain, but you kind of notice that diving's kind of like rowing, like it's just not really that known, especially for something that's so exciting. I mean, it's dangerous. I mean, that should be, you know, exciting enough for someone to watch, but I think we just have to really like push our biggest competitors and pull them in instead of push them out. So like, why not pull Tom Daley in, or why not pull Sasha Klein in? Like all these like really big heads of other countries to grow our own base.
Right.
But I think we're on the right track. We're getting new staff and working our way up. So.
Tell me your thoughts about your coach at Purdue. Obviously, very high regard in your mind.
Yeah.
Tell me about your coach and what you like.
I mean, Adam is a fantastic person. He actually tries to build you outside of the pool. He really works on character. I honestly was surprised to see how much I grew as a person at the pool, more than diving. I feel like I'm a lot more mature, and I take accountability for everything I do now. Sure. To an extent, I'm still working on it. But yeah, he really knows how to work with his divers on the good days and bad. So, I mean, he's just a fantastic coach. He's coached Steele Johnson, David Bedaya, Olympic champion of 2012 Olympics. It's just hard to not say good things about him. He's just a fantastic person.
Is your dives in competition, are they solidified in practice, or can you wait to get to a competition? Tell me about that. I think Bill Belichick said games are won, you know, days before a game day. What is your thought about that?
I mean, that's the exciting part about diving. Like, something can change within minutes. I've been working on certain corrections for dives. My back 3.5 pike is hands down my hardest dive as of right now. It's hard
to say.
Yeah, it is hard to say. It's a mouthful. We're trying to bring it in because you're supposed to be closer to the platform. They judge off for you being in the middle of the pool. So we're trying to bring that in, but it's 33 feet up, so it's scary to make corrections. So, I mean, you can have good days and bad days. You really just have to go into game day as confident as possible.
So you just mentioned something that the judges are looking for. They're looking for risk and reward. Diving as close to the platform into the pool as possible. When you're up there 10 meters, my hair is blowing around a little bit and I got hairspray in.
Yeah.
But up there, it's pretty devastating when that wind's shifting. You almost have to have physics in mind, science in mind. You're, you know, getting a meteorologist degree here. Tell me about that when you're up there 10 meters and that wind is moving.
Yeah, it's something I haven't dealt with in a long time. I was used to it when I used to dive here, But I mean, you can kind of tell from the preliminary rounds, it's something people aren't used to. Nowadays, you kind of see a lot of divers diving inside because it's something a lot more controlled, and we don't have to deal with the wind, we don't have to deal with the sun, the rain. It's something that we can just walk in knowing what we're going to get into.
Sure.
So it's hard for everyone. It's hard for me. I mean, I get up and I try to just follow my training. I know I just have to be as tight as possible and confident as possible, because right as you doubt yourself, then things will start going wrong.
You come from the gymnastic background. That's a pretty brutal sport. You've taken on a kind of a more brutal sport because you're adding that big height to it. Tell me about that. How is that on your body? How are you holding up?
Well, so I was in gymnastics for 9 years, and it hurt a lot. I moved to diving assuming that it wouldn't hurt as much, and then I jumped up to 10, but it's just truly a different kind of area of being hurt, in a sense. I guess gymnastics, you can hurt almost everything, and then it's a lot more specific when you get to the 10 meter. It's usually your shoulder, your wrist, or your knees. So I mean, you constantly have to be working on those few things to make sure you're not hurting them. But yeah, I mean, I do my best every day to like stretch out, do rehab. So I do the best I can for not getting hurt.
You mentioned that you would like to see USA Diving grow in leaps and bounds. What do you say to the young people? I just mentioned to you that I've got 3 young kids in competitive cheer. I talked to them about diving. They said, "Dad, that hurts." But how do you get younger people involved in the sport that you so dearly love?
You just got to show them how exciting it is. You only have a few events, but those few events are very, very intense, and they bring a lot of reward. I've never felt anything like it when you hit a dive off 10 meter. Like the excitement off of that is just unreal. That's what I was going to compare it to gymnastics. Like, I mean, I would stick a landing, it's pretty exciting, but like the fear and being able to conquer that fear, especially being 33 feet up, is just something that I've never experienced.
Yeah. I congratulate you on all your success. I know that you're just on the tiptoe part of you, that you're gonna really go places, escalate up. Congratulations, best of luck this weekend and this event. Best of luck in the Olympic trials, and as you continue your quest for being the best that you can.
Thank you.
I had a blast interviewing you, man.
Yep, thanks.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Why go anywhere else for your remodel project when you can find everything here at Decor & Tile? Our expert staff has years of experience, which is passed on to you whether you are a homeowner, contractor, or designer. At Decor & Tile, we make your project easy with our beautiful and unique showroom filled with tile, stone, decorative glass, wood tile, granite, and quartz like Pentel, Caesarstone, and USA Cambria. Find out why Decor & Tile is the most referred showroom in South Orange County. Come in, call, or visit us on the web today.
Dan, 31 years at the University of Georgia, and you decided to take on a new job. How do you do that, and why do you do that?
Well, after coaching for that long, I just felt like it was time to try something different, and I've been around these coaches and athletes for all those years, and thought maybe I can make a difference in a different way.
Yeah. You and I were just talking about it. This event, the last time, Fort Lauderdale, 2013. What brought it back, and what brought it to Mission Viejo?
Well, we left Fort Lauderdale in 13. They were doing some renovations and everything, and so it just took a while to find a spot. After they remodeled this beautiful facility and everything, we just wanted to get back here. We've been wanting to get it back in the U.S. for years, and this venue came available, and they've knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, I know that you want to build diving. It's the youth of today that's really going to expand this sport. I was talking to Brandon about that. How do you do that? How do you attract these young athletes? Maybe they're a gymnast, maybe they're a high competitive cheerleader. Your thoughts about that? How do you get them involved in something like that on this to grow it?
Well, you're right. We look at some gymnastics programs, but we're building diving programs left and right, and their numbers are going up, and just having different events. We have a regional coming up in a couple weeks for our junior nationals, and they're bigger than ever. So that's exciting that the numbers are going up. We're going to have more to pick from.
Your thoughts about diving in this complex? As you mentioned, it's beautiful. I was here a while back when it was dirt, and then I saw concrete, and then we did a show when it was starting to open up. What makes this facility special and primary right now in the sport of diving?
Well, the last time I was here was 2007, and obviously the old pool, and just having something this magnificent on the West Coast, and having this venue that we can come to and use for FINA meets, for U.S. diving meets, for camps, clinics. It won't be the last time we're here. I can guarantee you that much. They did a phenomenal job with all the platforms and the dryland facilities and everything. So it's definitely going to. The Matadors have had a great program here for years, and this is just going to add to it and hopefully attract more divers and more elite divers.
Boy, that's a great testimonial for the city of Mission Viejo coming out of Georgia, right?
Absolutely.
Now, you spent, as you mentioned, 31 years coaching. What was the biggest challenge over the years? And you hear about this, how coaches adapt to athletes. How did you adapt? Because obviously you were really good at it. And then with that, Dan, what advice can you give to coaches on the pool decks now that are going through that same transformation of these athletes in this stage of their lives?
Well, the biggest recommendation I can give is be flexible. Times change. There's different values, different athletes. They're a lot stronger than they used to be. They jump a lot higher, spin a lot faster. I mean, we've had some phenomenal divers through the years, and we still do. And so, I think I was able to change with the times. And coach in college, where they're all 19, 20, 21 years old, kind of kept me young and energetic too. But it's real exciting to see the caliber of divers and what they're doing nowadays. But also, I think the hardest thing is that there's so much more, extreme sports.
Right.
And there's so many more distractions, so many more activities for these kids to do. So, keeping them interested and keeping them on point sometimes is a little difficult.
A kid on board shorts and on a skateboarder doesn't know it, but he or she could be a fantastic diver.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You never think, you don't think about that type of athlete. You mentioned it, right. The action sports industry and the tremendous athletes there. The sport of diving to me is an action sport. It really is. I appreciate wholeheartedly what these divers can do. And Brandon was just talking about, I'm being judged on how close I land in the water to the diving complex, and up 10 meters, that's pretty extraordinary. How do you coach fear?
Oh, I don't think you can coach fear. I think they're actually, actually having a little bit of fear probably helps you a little bit. Because you get too confident up there, you might make some mistakes. But I'll be honest with you, I wasn't a platform diver. And to go up there and stand 33 feet above and throw yourself off that tower is, you have to be a little bit of a daredevil. You talk about extreme sports and everything. That is an extreme sport, and my hat is off to all those divers up there, in the 3 meter too. So it's a challenging sport, and it's a beautiful sport. It's one of the most watched sport at the Olympics.
Yeah.
So it's exciting.
Yeah, I think that what you just said, one of the most watched sports, it is, because there's one thing to see swimming go back and forth, but to see the diving is pretty incredible. Do you notice a difference between a female athlete and a male athlete on how they approach the sport? Brandon was saying to me that, he did the vault in gymnastics, and he would run and have to hit the vault and pound off it. But here on the springboard, it's almost like a ballet step to it. You got to have tempo. Can you explain the different approach, if there is a different approach?
Between springboard and platform?
Between a male and a female and their
male
approach?
and female.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think obviously the males are a little stronger and can push the board down further and get a little bit higher and whatnot, but I don't think their approach is that much different.
Okay.
And the men can do some harder dives, But over the years, you know, there's some women out there that are doing dives that the men weren't doing years ago.
Yeah.
And so it's real impressive. They impress me every day.
Yeah. When I saw your name in the City of Mission Viejo newsletter, I said, I got to interview him. And I'm so glad that you did this and allowed me to talk to you. Doing a great job, only been on the job 9 months, your new transition. Congratulations on that. That's a big step to make, whatever career you're in. So good luck to you, and go USA, right?
Thank you.
Thank you very much, man. RW Dentistry, located in San Juan Capistrano, meets all your dental needs in one convenient location. With the latest dental technology and affordable financial plans, we promise to give you the confidence a beautiful smile can inspire.
I love it. Each time I come in here, I say I love my teeth.
RW Implants and Cosmetic Family Dentistry in San Juan Capistrano. Contact them today to schedule your appointment. RW Implants and Cosmetic Dentistry. Sophie, I consider you a risk taker. You and I were just talking, and your events are off the 10-meter.
Yes.
How and why?
That's a very good question. Honestly, sometimes I ponder why and how to, but in the end, I love diving, and I love diving 10-meter, and it gets really hard. I'm not gonna lie, and I totally question myself and doubt myself, but then it's like the good moments, like being here at these meets, that I'm like, this is why I do this. It's amazing. I have so much fun on 10-meter.
I joked with you, not because you look younger or older than you are, but I'm astonished from your maturity level that you were a sophomore in high school. What did I ask you? I said, what year are you in college? And you said, I'm a sophomore in high school. So you're 16 years old. You absolutely love this sport. What were you doing before diving? Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I was mostly just having fun being a 7-year-old, doing some easy sports like swimming. I did some ballet for a little bit.
I can see that.
I like just like kind of went around in all of the sports. I never did soccer though. That's like the most common teenage sport, but I guess I was into the basic type things, and then I found diving and I stuck with it, and it's been awesome.
Do you think that you like diving because it's an individual sport and I mean, you're responsible for everything. You're responsible for practice, you know, your score, your performance. You don't rely on anyone else except in mixed.
Yes.
But tell me about that aspect. There's something to be said about individual sports.
Yeah, I love being in control. I have spoken with other people in a team event, and they're all like, well, it's nice because then like the pressure isn't really on me anymore, but I like the pressure. I think it's awesome. I know that it's up to me to do well, and I really enjoy that.
That's a big statement, right?
Yeah.
You're taking on that pressure. So I would say that you're probably a cerebral person. When you're up 33 feet or 10 meters up there, what goes through your mind? Do you already know, do you already picture the dive and you've gone over it? I see that you guys on the pool deck, you're doing ballet in your mind already. Can you tell me about that mindset when you're up there?
Yeah, definitely. I really like to imagine my dive. I was told by Olympians that it's very helpful to picture it in your mind before you go, and ever since then that's been my routine. But a lot goes through my mind. When I'm standing on the edge, I think about a lot, and I try to keep all negative thoughts out because my number one rule is to have a positive mindset. And so I'm just thinking in my head about the dive I'm doing, and I say, you got it, over and over again.
You are a free spirit. Has people told you that? You're a free spirit?
Yeah.
Does that come from mom and dad, or tell me about that? A brother or a sister? Or?
I guess just with the people who I like to surround myself with. Ever since I was young, I've been around free-spirited people, and I guess that's reflected on me. I'm so glad it has, because that's so fun.
You're sophomore, 16 years old. Tell me about your social media habits. Is it something the coaches allow when you're on the pool deck? Do they have pool rules or phone rules, social media rules? Can you tell me and give some advice to other teenagers out there?
Yeah, totally. I love being on social media. I mean, I'm a 16-year-old girl. Snapchat and Instagram is a very big part of my life. Yeah. While I'm at practice, though, my coaches want me to stay off of it, and I do too, just for focus reasons. And so I guess some advice is to prioritize. Snapchat isn't the most important thing in your life, but also have fun. You know, like, we're teenagers, we're young. Like, I think it's important to have a presence on social media, and you can able to keep in touch with other international divers through it.
Absolutely. And your thoughts about injury factor on coming from 10 meters. Brandon was telling me, you know, Paul, the injuries I suffer are shoulders, knees, and wrist, which makes sense, right? Do you get the same thing? And tell me about that and how, I mean, they're unavoidable because it's going to happen. You're hitting the water at such a speed, such a rate. How do you deal with injuries?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's so much impact when you're diving from 10 meter. I injured my back a couple years ago, but it was a very quick recovery, and I'm super thankful for that. And I guess I used to wear tape on my wrist, but I'm actually pretty lucky that I've had pretty much injury-free, exactly, knock on wood.
That's why I bring the wood stools.
Yeah, perfect. But yeah, I'm super grateful that I've been able to keep diving for 9 years without any serious injuries.
Is this, you're long, is that an advantage? You know, you're almost, you said ballet. You could, you know, ballet and you go, you know, you're in synchronicity with ballet. Is that, I mean, streamlining into the water instead of being bulkier? Does that make any sense? I mean,
no, I understand your question. Yeah, generally being tall is a disadvantage in diving. You think it's spin faster when you're small, but I personally love watching long divers.
Right.
I think their lines are beautiful, and I think that you can see the upside to being tall and use that to show grace and beauty, which is super important in diving.
who is your mixed partner, and tell us about the mixed diving?
Yeah, my synchro partner is Maxwell Weinreich, and
Say his name again?
Maxwell Weinreich.
I'm glad you said that.
And he's so awesome. We have so much fun together. I really like mixed synchro because although I love how diving is an individual sport, it's super reassuring and comforting to have someone up there with you while you're diving. And it's only 2 people up there, and it's still in my control how I dive, and all I want to do is dive well for my partner.
So Sophie, how do you get paired with a partner? Is that something that you decide, or does that coach decide, or tell us about that?
Yeah, so there's a range in how you can get paired with someone. Sometimes USA Diving as an organization will select 2 people because they think they would dive well together. With my synchro partner Max, I actually asked him to be my synchro partner, because I know him well as a diver, and I thought that we could do really well together, and then we started training.
And speaking of training, how often do you get to train in that element with him?
Right, exactly, yeah. So he lives across the country from me. He lives in Maryland, and I live in California. So there is definitely some difficulty there with training, but we've been super lucky. We've practiced, I think, like 5 times together now, which is awesome before this meet, which is a lot.
Sophie, I know that you're such a young person, but you know there's a lot of history on this pool deck. Just a moment ago, you met Brian Goodell, who won 2 gold medals in swimming in the Olympics in '76. And of course, Greg Louganis, and there's a lot of people that came through this complex. But now you're diving here. It's got to be an honor.
Yeah, absolutely. This is awesome. I love being here. It's such an amazing team and such an amazing place, and I love being in California. It's super fun representing now not only my country, but also my state. You know, I'm proud to be a Californian.
I'm glad that you are. So 2020, not too far away.
Yeah.
Olympic aspirations, tell me about that. Tell me about the road to the Olympics and the chances and the possibilities there, being such a young lady as you are at 16. Tell me about that.
Well, I would love to go to the Olympics. It's definitely a dream of mine. 2020 is soon, and I don't really have expectations for it, but I would love to compete at Olympic trials and just have fun getting that experience and competing with the people who will be our future Olympians.
That's a great point. Olympic trials is like an Olympics in itself. I mean, you feel the pressure. You are on a world stage, and you are competing against the best in the U.S. Your thoughts, what advice could you give young ladies, young boys that maybe want to get into this sport of diving? They might be in soccer, in basketball, in ballet, action sport, a gymnast. What would you say to them? I know you've probably had this discussion with several kids before. Tell us about that.
I think diving is a really rewarding sport because it is individual. It's super amazing to dive, and each dive is different. So you can always just put it in the past and then focus on the next one, even if you end up doing badly. So I think that anyone should want to be a diver. It's obviously mentally and physically very strenuous, but it's so amazing when to compete and dive and do well.
Well, you are doing well.
Thank you.
If they told you that you're going to do this show, that means they think highly of you, that you represent U.S. diving on a big stage. So thank you for allowing me to interview you. It was such a pleasure.
Thank you. It was awesome.
Yeah, so, when you get to be a sophomore in college, you can tell me what that feels like.
I
all right?
will let you know.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you so much.